Shit's about to get real. Shit about to get real, motherfuckers.
So she thought the plaintiff was actually, at the time that she received this message, she really thought this was the plaintiff doing this?
Correct. I mean, she said yes.
And she thought the plaintiff was trying to set her up so she'd just go ahead and take the bait and put it all out.
Unexperienced bloggers, 2,000 followers jumping in my DM with information. How is that making up stories? If you're sending them to my DM, bitch, how? That's what you want to do? You want to send people with fake stories, and I knew they was fake. I told Carla, I'm gonna put the bullshit out anyway, and I knew that was gonna go. I was just waiting on her. I thought she would go live sooner. And the bitch that you laying up with, Lovely T, that helped me to put the story together, you dumb hoe. I'm just saying, how you gonna send somebody a fake story and then say, see, she put out fake news? How the does that make sense? Bitch, I didn't make that up. You did. You stupid bitch. So, I'm not worried about it. And no, I'm not settling, okay? I'm not settling. The judge don't even want that. The judge was like, listen, the judge told her attorneys when they tried to get my case thrown out, they said, listen, if Miss Almanzar wants this to go away, she knows how to make it go away. That's exactly what they said. Because when they looked at shit, they knew it was fucking bullshit.
Which her purpose was to show that the plaintiff was trying to set her up to then, so that the plaintiff could then go and claim that she posts fake stories.
Well, so, if there's a trial in this case, I hope she has a better story than that, because that makes no logical sense. I mean,
she probably be able to explain it better than I can, but that's the information that I have.
Well, there needs to be a serious evaluation of your case. If that's the defense that you're going to present to a jury, that she knew all along it was false, and she thought it was the plaintiff. She didn't believe it was true, but she went ahead and published it anyway. But when she thought the plaintiff was trying to set her up, no reasonable person would do that. I mean, that makes as much sense as nothing. I mean, so that's her source. Then if assuming that to be her source, she claims T.I. is the source for some things. Did she know who T.I. was?
No, Lovely T was never a source for anything.
Lovely T, is that it? It's not T.I., it's Lovely T?
Lovely T is the name of the blogger, yes, sir.
So Lovely T was not a source for any of these allegations?
No, but there are, again, numerous videos of the plaintiff herself on the internet talking about these things herself.
Yeah, I think at one of maybe our last conference that we had, I'm not sure what that might have been a motion to dismiss, or the discovery dispute. That's probably what it was, that day long hearing on discovery dispute. At least by then, I had made a statement that I questioned to some degree the plaintiff's claim for damages, given the profile that she has as a performer. Certainly, the videos, the music videos that she does, are very provocative. And that's probably a very mild way of describing them. Of course, a lot of that goes to damages, I suppose. But I guess you could argue that some of it may even support some of the allegations that the defendant made about her. Not all of them for sure, but maybe a few of them.
Yeah, and to be clear, in the Jones video,
her being the defendant.
Yes. To be clear, in the Jones video, they neither Ms. Jones nor my client, the defendant, ever said that the plaintiff had any STDs. What Ms. Jones said was that the plaintiff, had cold sores on her mouth during the time that she knew that they knew each other, or that, you know, during that short time that they worked together at the strip club.
Talk about the herpes, because that was a serious allegation.
Okay. I didn't have a problem with her cold sore on her lip at all. I was addressing it for her to help her. Like, hey.
So you guys were living together.
Yes, and
at
she
the
had
time.
Right.
And she had herpes outbreaks on her mouth.
Yes.
Did your client later refer to the plaintiff as herpes B?
She did. But
that becomes a statement of fact, doesn't it? If I referred to Judge Roy Moore in Alabama as child molester Moore, I mean, that would be implying that I gave credits to the allegations against him. I mean, when she called her herpes B, with B being a part of her stage name, I mean, that's a statement of fact.
I mean, she also referred to her as cold sore B. Those were interchanged, you know, she interchangeably referred to her as both. And cold sores are obviously medically known as herpes. So that's really where that all came from.
Cold sores are what now?
Cold sores are herpes. Like, the medical term for cold sore is herpes. So she has never said anything about the client. She's talked about plaintiff having basically cold sores. There's pictures that appear that the plaintiff does have cold sores on her mouth. And so, like, that's all that, you know, that they were talking about. They were not discussing her.
You're going to have testimony in this case that that a cold sore must mean that you have herpes?
I mean, it's not. If you have cold sores, that's what they are. They're herpes.
Okay, I understand that herpes may manifest itself in cold sores. Are you saying that cold sores always mean that someone has herpes?
That was my understanding.
Okay. All right, I never heard that before. So you may be right, but I'm not sure that is right, but I'll take your word for it, at least right now. So your defense then for the defendant on that is that when she said she called her herpes B, she wouldn't say anything that wasn't true.
Correct, Your Honor. Our defense is that these statements are true.
Okay, so now I was just doing some research about cold sores. There's two different types of herpes, and one is reflected by cold sores. As far as the HPV, I'm sorry, you have no source for that and agree, right? For HPV.
Correct.
Do you have a source for the HPV?
No, Your Honor. For the HPV is the video
But you're saying that was not really an accusation. That was just sort of a matter of jest or either of a matter of inquiry, I suppose. As it relates to the prosecute, you say that her own videos established that and make that reasonable along with Ms. James.
Correct.
Drug use, I guess the same, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. The issue of adultery is this unattributed account that DM'd your client, right?
Yes.
Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I believe that's it.
Ms. Mass, do you have any follow-up?
I do just have a couple of short follow-up points. I'm not going to belabor what Your Honor's obviously already caught on to, and that is that, you know, these anonymous sources and the way he publishes her videos is no reasonable person would accept them as true, and she's acknowledged that they were not. You know, Ms. Ismailova saying that there's an issue of fact here, there's not one. There's not any facts in the record that any of this is true. Ms. Ismailova has made a couple of other blatant misrepresentations I just want to correct. In the Jones video, they did use the word herpes, and I apologize, but I think that it's extremely disingenuous to be arguing anything else at this juncture. I mean, I'm happy to read you the transcript, but saying that she didn't say herpes, she said she had cold sores is, I mean, frankly, it's just a lie. The Jones video says, here we go, I'm reading from a quote. Kibi, this is Kibi asking the question. Kibi, she has herpes, question mark? Jones, yes. Kibi, So you were living with her at the time she said she had herpes outbreaks on her mouth, ? Jones. Yes. And I mean, there's so many other instances of her using, herpes. Your Honor's aptly pointed out herpes B was a way to, say that she had herpes. She said it in other videos as well. In April of 2020, she said, Schemo apparently gave plaintiff herpes. I mean, we've quoted a lot of these in our statement of material facts. Our statement of material facts is very long and detailed. We've put forth many, many instances of these things. I would also like to just touch on the video that she's claiming is a joke. First of all, she says in that video several times that my client committed an infidelity act. I believe she says it in that video 7 times. And what she actually says about HPV wasn't what Ms. Ismailova said. At the hour 16 minute and 11 second mark, she says, I know you got HPV. Can I confirm it? No, but Dr. Sebi's people can do something about it.
You said that Cardi B prostituted.
Yes.
She was a drug user.
Yes.
Cocaine and Molly, to be specific.
Yes.
Okay. She has herpes.
Yes.
All right. Past where she stuck beer bottles up her vagina. She actually took beer bottles from pedestrians. Okay. No. This is on video. She took the beer bottle from the pedestrian. Okay. He was drinking it. Stuck it in her cooch. Okay. Drank the beer bottle and gave it back to him. A roommate. And I didn't have to say on no twat. I didn't have to get on my knees and do this. I come out here and say that she's not the bad guy and she's never so. That's a lie. Yeah, she got mad. I helped to tell the world. I co-signed everything that she said. She's a whole prostitute, whatever. Okay. I know you got HPV.
And you know what? The defense that I was joking when you're accusing someone of having a sexually transmitted disease, I mean, it's not a realistic defense, and the court can absolutely decide to disregard that as a matter of law. These things aren't funny. And, regardless of my client's past, where, she was a stripper at a period in her life, and regardless of, that piece of her past, that doesn't mean that she has STDs, and it doesn't mean that, even though she is a famous rapper and, a musical artist, she's also a mother and she's a wife. And the fact that she, for a period of time, was a stripper doesn't mean that it's okay for Ms. Keeby to go out and slander her in this way. Even to the extent the court is going to, give some consideration to my client's public profile, it just doesn't go as far as Ms. Keeby has taken it. Those things it's not funny. The other thing I just want to mention, the thing Ms. Ismailova keeps saying that my client has admitted to being a prostitute. My client has admitted no such thing. The video she is talking about is, again, one of the ones that was edited. My client was dressed up in a Halloween costume, but it is very clearly a joke and a Halloween costume and someone talking about how they've dressed up for Halloween. And, again, that doesn't mean it's okay for Ms. Keeby to take, that and then go out and say that my client has sexually transmitted infections and that she actually is a prostitute and that she's trick rolled people and, all of these other things that are blatantly untrue. And there's just no evidence in the record that they are true.
And I can't recall whether y'all tried to sell this case through mediation or not. Look, folks, there's going to be a trial of some sort. So from the plaintiff's perspective, whether she obtained summary judgment on some or all of these claims, she still got to be here, she still got to testify, she still got to have a lot of this stuff talked about. Same thing for the defendant. And honestly, if you just look at the evidence that we all know is out there, I got to say it's a much greater probability that if this case goes to trial completely on everything, that the plaintiff's going to prevail in a lot greater way, and there's certainly more money on the line for the defendant than I think for the plaintiff. Could be wrong about that, but that's my assessment.